Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my May rooted video. I can't believe we are already in June. This year is going by really quickly. So if you aren't familiar with this series, I am in a small town that I recently moved to it's been about 2 years now, so it's actually not all that recent anymore. And it's been a hard transition, and so in 2017 I made my word for the year rooted, and I have been checking in every month as I've continued to make steps to feel more rooted here in this place and feel more at home. So I'll link that playlist up above if you want to go check out the preliminary video to the whole series that kind of explains the situation at length. And then I have a video for January, February, March, and April. And today is May. So May was kind of an interesting month. It started off really rocky and really low and ended really beautifully. So it's hard to put a stamp on exactly how this month went overall because it was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. One thing that I do want to share kind of before we jump into the nitty-gritty is I wrote a blog post about the adjustment to a new place over time and kind of analyzing that. So I'm going to pop in the graph here and kind of talk you through it. So the graph shows, you can see at the beginning, this is for me, this is not like scientific, statistically sound, anything like that. This is just based on my experience whenever I go to a new place and I'm adjusting to it. So at the beginning, you can see I always feel really excited to be in a new place. Like I feel like, yay, look, I'm in a new place. This is so exciting. There's so many new things to see and do, so many new memories to be made. This is so wonderful. I'm so excited about this. And that's how it feels at the beginning. Then you can see sometime after that, my happiness level drops and plummets, and I feel really, really low and feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm ever gonna like it here. I really hate it. I'm so miserable. And then you kind of get into the second half of the graph, and you can see it's a little bit rocky there. It goes up and down, and that's where I tend to have some really high days and some really low days, and I'm kind of trying to figure out how I feel about where I am. And I'm starting to learn that it's okay that there are things that I love and things that I don't like about the new place where I'm living. And then you can see toward the end of the graph, it's a very slow but steady increase in contentment and happiness over time as kind of acceptance has rolled through, and I feel, ready to be in the new place where I am. So for me, this graph has played out in every major life transition. When I moved to Spain for 6 months, this is how it went. When I moved to Austin, this is how it went. When I went away to college, this is how it went. Every time that I've moved to a new place for any amount of time, I've gone through this. Now, yours might look different. I'm just sharing I've just been kind of reflecting and realizing that this is how I kind of process transition. So what I'm realizing is that when I first moved into our little apartment a couple of years ago, I was at that high point, and I kind of went through all the series of that graph in our little apartment, which was about 20 miles south of where we live now, the whole time we were house hunting. Then when we moved into this house, which is in a different city than the apartment, I started at the high peak again. It kind of reset it, because even though I'm in the same geographical area of the country, being more solidified in a town and having a house and knowing that we were going to be planted here for a little while, I think that kind of resetted my graph. And so for the first few months, we had a brand new house that we loved, and we were so excited to be in a neighborhood, and we were so excited to be in a city and all of these things. We were living out in the middle of, we live basically in the middle of nowhere now, but in our apartment, it was literally the middle of nowhere. Like the town barely had a grocery store. So now, there's a grocery store and things like that. So it was like peak happiness. And then I would say towards late summer, after we had been there for about 6 months, early to mid-fall, it was the plummet of feeling very down, of not knowing whether or not I was ever going to like it, living here, and just feeling so deeply miserable, which is what sparked this whole rooted series, was that deep misery and just realizing that I could not sit there. So toward the end of last year, 2016, I started to, I think, see that there were going to be, that the transition was going to be a little bit up and down the way that it kind of has been. And so I would say for sure that through the past 5 months of 2017, I've certainly been in that middle part where there's a lot of ups and downs, and I'm trying to kind of find my footing. So the hard thing about that is that some days are great, some days are really hard, but the great thing about that is that I know that the next stage is kind of acceptance of where I am and really starting to find some real happiness and joy in living here. So I just thought I'd share that. I'll link my blog post if you want to go read through the whole blog post. There's more details in it and all that kind of stuff, but that's kind of generally where I am right now. And so I just wanted to share that. I thought that might be helpful for you if you are also transitioning or adjusting to a new place. Your graph might not look exactly the same as mine, but kind of picturing it in a more, scientific way, so to speak, may be helpful. So that's that. So let's start at the beginning of May, and then I'll work my way through the month and share different things that have happened and different things that have made me feel more rooted or less rooted and kind of where I am in this journey. So last month I shared in my April video that it was a tough month. There were some really hard days in April, and I think the end of April leading into the beginning of May, there was definitely some residual kind of negativity and sadness moving into May. So the beginning of May was not the best. I definitely had a few really tough days in the beginning of May. But one thing that was really exciting to me was that I went into the Boys and Girls Club it was on the day that I recorded my April Rooted video. So I think it was, right there at the very end of April. I went to the Boys and Girls Club for like my final meeting. If you've been following, it's been a back and forth situation since January. So I went in for my final meeting and I met with, the person that I was supposed to meet with, and then this other person who I must meet with before I can start volunteering. I had a meeting with him and he didn't show up for it. So I never, got to chat with him. And so I was assured by the other person there that they were going to reach out to me within the next week to get me, on the schedule and in to volunteer. And it's been a month now and I have not heard from anyone. And it's been so frustrating to me, and I don't want to put anyone down or anything like that, but I just am frustrated because I found out through the process of volunteering that this particular club doesn't have any volunteers, and I was willing to put in a couple days a week, 3 hours, twice a week or so, which is, hopefully helpful to them, and I just have not been able to get much accomplished since January of trying to volunteer. And I've driven down to the organization multiple times and been the one to go and kind of prod things along and ask where my application was. And I'm not trying to be obnoxious, but I really do want to volunteer. And it's a little baffling to me that an organization that has 400 children a day doesn't want to volunteer to help. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. So I've heard some things around town, it's a small town, so I've heard some things around town, different negative things, and I'm wondering if maybe I do need to shift my focus and look into another organization to volunteer with, but it's frustrating because I put 5 months of time in. But anyway, there are a few other organizations in town that are very appealing to me. So I'm going to try one last time with Boys and Girls Club, but I don't feel that I should have to beg to volunteer. I've been doing what I need to do on my end, and I feel like the ball is getting dropped on their end, and it's kind of a sticky situation. So that was kind of that's been ongoing through May, but has been a little bit of a thorn in my side of frustration because I'm ready to volunteer. I'm ready, and I guess they're not. So that's the update with that. I know a lot of you guys have been so supportive of that. I wish I had better news for you on that front. One thing that was really exciting in May is that on May 12th, I hit 5 years of blogging. So I started my blog 5 years ago in 2012, and so it was just a really exciting day. just reflecting on the past 5 years and all the doors that my blog has opened up for me, and it's just been a really cool project, and to have stuck with it for 5 years was something that I was really excited about. So that was something that happened in May, and is something that I'm really grateful for. And on reflecting on that a little bit, one reason why I was able to pull myself out of a traditional job and start down the path of being a full-time blogger, and now I own an Etsy shop and I run a blogger mentorship program and these different things. One of the main reasons why that was an option was because we ended up moving here. Or one of the reasons why I walked down that path. Had we moved to Austin, where I already had a job I loved, I would have stuck with that job. And that would have been fine, but it's been really, really amazing to be able to walk this path and be able to grow these different things that I've been thinking about growing for years. And so I am really excited about that. And I never want to kind of forget that even though being here has been definitely really challenging, there are some really good things that have come about because of this move. And one of those things has been being able to grow these different aspects of my business. And the honest truth is that if I were in Austin with as busy as I was and as involved as I was with my job and my friends and all these things, I wouldn't have had the time to really put in and grow these different things. And it's been so cool to see. Just yesterday I was checking Etsy, and my year-over-year sales has increased from last May to this May by almost 5,000%. So that kind of growth doesn't happen by accident. That's because I'm putting in lots of time, and it's really enjoyable to me, and I really love doing it. But that just would not have happened had I been really busy with a busy schedule and a full-time job outside of the home. So I'm really thankful for that, and I just don't want to forget that. And I think kind of reflecting on 5 years of blogging and kind of realizing that I've gotten to where I have wanted to be for all this time of being able to do this full time and making an income and these kinds of things. And that hasn't happened by accident, and that hasn't probably wouldn't have been a possibility had I not moved here. So there are good and bad things with every transition in life, but I don't want to forget the good things about this transition, because it's really easy to focus on the negative. So that's one thing that happened this May that was really exciting, was celebrating 5 years of blogging. I also got a lot of socialization this May, which was really exciting. So I went and met a college friend who lives in Dallas. We met halfway and got coffee for the evening, and it was super fun. We just sat outside and talked for 3 or 4 hours, and that was awesome. One of Riley's friends has become one of my friends, and so she and her husband and Riley and me and then their baby, who's really cute, we all went out to dinner and had an evening together also this month, which was really great. Just so nice to get out of the house and talk to other people my age. It is so great. So anyway, we did that, and that was fun. I also hosted a baby shower in my home for my pastor's wife, Jenny. She is actually still pregnant. She's like a week past her due date and very ready to deliver, but she's having her 3rd baby boy. And so another girl at church and I hosted it here, and so the other girl sent out invitations and she took care of some of the food, and then I kind of did some of the other hosting elements in our home, and so it ended up working out really great. And doing things like that just is so life-giving to me anyway, because I just love hosting people and feeding people and all those kinds of things. But also being able to get to know the other woman who hosted the shower with me, and really, when you do something like that for someone else, that kind of solidifies your relationship too. And so I just feel closer to the people at our church this month than I have in the past year. What's really crazy is we hosted a Christmas party here last December for our church, which, if you don't know, our church is very small, very small. And so we had everybody here, and I don't know, maybe there were 20, 25, 30 different people here. And I am not kidding when I say that now our church is 100% different people. There's like maybe 1 or 2 people, so maybe 98%, except for the pastor and his wife and Riley and I. And then maybe 1 or 2, I can think of 2 other people who have stuck around. So there's like 6 residual people out of like 35. And everyone else is new and different, new people who have started coming to the church, and all of those original people have since left the church. And it's been this crazy transition. And It's been really kind of weird because it's not been very long, but it's been amazing to see how the church has really solidified itself, and I feel like the relationships are just deeper and stronger than they had been. So anyway, I'm thankful for the new crew at the church and the people that I've gotten to know, and I'm starting to get to know. And I've talked before about how we're at different life stages and we don't have a lot in common, all these things, and those things are still true, but it's still a really nice thing to go to Bible study on Thursday nights or go to church on Sunday morning and see familiar faces of people that I know and who I can have a chat with and that kind of thing. So I'm really thankful for that, and I am really, really loving our church and feeling more solidified in it, now that it's been about a year or so since we started attending. The last thing that happened this month was that my parents came to visit for Memorial Day weekend, and I have a lot of photos on Instagram, so if you want to check that out, you totally can. But anyway, we had a great time. We went out to a nearby lake and we took the boat out, and that was really, really fun, and just spent time outdoors, and got to hang out with my parents because they live in Maryland, so I don't get to see them a whole lot, and so when they're here in Texas, it's always a great time. So that was awesome, and just it's fun to have house guests, it's fun to have people around. So all in all, the beginning of May was a little bit low and a little bit frustrating and disappointing, but I have been happier and more joyful and more content this month than I have been in a really long time. Certainly than I have been since we moved here. I just feel like that rocky midsection of the graph is starting to show some signs of leveling out, and I'm so thankful for it because my heart can only take so much of the up and down. I'm sure that there will still be some hard days and some times when I'm wishing that we could pack up and move, but overall I'm starting to feel a lot more settled here. I also am having just a lot more peace in my heart about being here. I feel like there are some different things that I have been wanting to do and different goals that I've had for a long time, and I'm starting to see the possibility of ways that they could kind of come to fruition, and things that I've been wanting to do could happen here because we would be in this place. So I just am having I have a very positive perspective right now. I've been fighting for positivity, but I genuinely feel that way this month. So I'm really thankful for that. Anyway, I just want to thank y'all so much for following along on this journey, and I cannot thank you enough for those of you who comment and email me and send me letters to my P.O. box, and all of you who are just so supportive and wonderful, and especially to those who are brave enough to share your own journeys and your own stories with me. A lot of you are following along with my journey because you're going through something very similar, and it really helps me not feel so alone to hear from you and know that I'm not alone, that there are other people who are going through the same thing. I think I say this in every video, but I am so genuinely thankful for that. So just thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope your May was beautiful, and I am so excited for June. I love summer, and I know that summer doesn't officially start until June 20th, but to me, June 1st is the start of summer, which is so exciting. And June 1st is tomorrow. I'm recording this on May 31st, so I am thrilled for that. I will check in at the end of June and let you know how this past month has been. I hope that you're doing great. Let me know in the comments how you're doing with your word of the year or your resolution or your goals for the year, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon. Bye, guys.